Hey everybody, welcome to Hit Rewind. This episode we're going back into the perfect concert playlist, and frankly this is going to be a new thing for us. We kind of were just filling time, me and John, until the next season was ready, so we did like 5 or 6 of these. But Robert's my oldest friend. You're my second oldest friend, and by that I mean you're 700 years old. You're a Highlander.
Listen, technically I'm the oldest in age, but...
Oh, okay, well... we're recording this on the 30th anniversary of us becoming friends. I don't think he remembers this. Do you remember this?
I do not remember this. Is this the day was this the ping pong day or was
it was pickleball. It was pickleball day, I thought. Maybe it was ping pong. But everybody, Ron is my oldest and dearest, with the exception of Robert, of course. But he's got 2 years on you, buddy. I'm sorry.
I'll survive.
So we both failed pre-algebra. No, we both failed algebra 1 or something like that, and then our classes got shifted around, so we both ended up in a new gym class together. And then we got along so well playing pickleball. We're talking about music and movies and what we loved and everything like that. And lo and behold, as soon as gym class is over, I go to pre-algebra, and who is also the new addition to this class?
Raoul Millingham.
Raoul Millingham, which I thought was his name for the first week. But we sat together, and we proceeded to annoy the shit out of everybody around us, because all we did was talk about heavy metal and movies and stuff like that. And I remember one girl...
Probably why we were in that class again.
Huh?
Because we talk about things like that instead of paying attention.
Yeah, well, we also had the worst teacher. He did not care. He didn't teach us anything. Do you remember anything at all? I think all he did was just go, study this, turn this in, you're good. And then he would just sip coffee. And he had the worst breath. Oh my God, the worst. I think someone pulled a prank on him and put some toothpaste on his desk, and he got really pissed and left.
What was his name again?
I don't know, and I'm not gonna open myself up legally like that.
No, this is true. So yeah, let's not do that, Mr. Bad Breath.
Yes, I'm almost certain he's probably gone by now. That guy was in his 50s. He was way past giving a crap about teaching. But some of the things that I love about that class was the girl who turned to us one day and goes, "Do you guys ever actually do homework in here, or you just talk about movies all day?" And we kind of looked at each other and was, "No, we just kind of talk about movies all day."
It's like, okay, just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you. I still love the fact there was this girl who walked past us, and this was towards the end of the year. She looks at the two of us talking because we got there early, and she goes, "You guys are in this class? Huh?" And I was like, that was rude.
Well, looking back, was that a bad huh or just a...
No, if you knew the person, she was very narcissistic, uppity, kind of pain-in-the-ass girl. But
gotcha.
That started decades of friendship, and yes, we haven't seen each other in almost 20 years, and I'm trying to rectify that, people, but apparently the house-buying gods are really starting to get in the way.
You're not the only ones going through this issue, thankfully. But I gotta say thankfully, that's a bad thing. But...
I know what you mean. It could be a werewolf problem that we're dealing with. Yeah, I keep trying to get over to your house, but I keep getting mauled by werewolves.
Like, when are you going to do something about that?
So what we do on this...
I always hated was all the dang vampires. Sorry.
And this is year 6 of us recording together, almost 7 now. He came to fill in when my friend Jacob, who was a regular co-host, who still is a regular co-host, but he was like the only co-host, had a lot of extra work to do at his warehouse. So Ron stepped in, and sometimes it's challenging for us to get episodes together, and I think a lot of it was because we were both getting bored with the sci-fi thing. It's a lot of work. The sci-fi thing was so much work. And, finding the shows, picking them, how many episodes do we watch, and then how do we discuss that? And it's just... So that's pretty much, unless you find something special we forgot about, that's done. So the perfect concert playlist is what we're going to do for a while, and I think this is going to be a lot easier and a lot more fun for us.
I believe so. I agree. I concur.
And it's not just discovering the hits rediscovering the hits you already knew. It's also finding new things buried in, because a lot of these bands, I only know like the main stuff that plays on the radio, but then you get to go into their discography and like, oh, okay, so there's more than 4 well-known songs. We got 20 things or so that are really worthy. And then we choose either 2 or 3 bands based on how much we think we will be able to get out of them. The rule is 20 songs. We can have an encore if we want. That's player's choice. So this episode we're choosing Foreigner, Styx, and Journey, any order that we want. Total of 20 songs. And I didn't flip a quarter, but you're the oldest, so you go first.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Well, my birthday was a couple days ago, and your birthday's coming up in a couple weeks, so
oh my gosh,
this will be an early birthday gift to you.
I'll be over that 45 mark.
Yeah, I know. It's really weird to think 45. That's what I turned. He's going to be 46, but
46. Yeah.
I swear to God, we were just in college. Like that was.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's so weird to think that we weren't just horsing around and pretending to do homework and barely managing and paying for it.
I still feel like we graduated high school 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, I just remember the days of wandering around Vincent's University, and then we'd wander into town, and that was just a normal thing. We'd walk all over town and just discover the world and hang out. We hung out at train stations at midnight on a Saturday. We would hang out by the water and sing songs while people yelled at us for being too loud across the river. And it just feels like it was so recent. It's just weird. Now your kid's in college. What is going on?
That's how you do that now. I'd be worried. Yeah. If my kid was running around like we were running around like that. Yeah. Anyway.
Pennies on the train tracks to see if they shoot. Do you remember that?
The what?
We used to put pennies on the train tracks and see if they would shoot out or they flatten them or whatever, and they just got shook off because we didn't tape them down. We're dumb.
Well, you were dumb. Can you imagine when we have one of those guys that got like right in, through somebody's skull?
Oh god, that's some Final Destination stuff right there. Hey guys, let's plant some pennies. Yeah.
This would be a very different episode. Anyway.
I wouldn't be able to remember anything.
No, it's like, what was I? Goldfish memory.
Yeah. It's already bad enough at our age anyway. Seriously, it's rough. Okay, so you're going to go first. Which band do you start off with?
Well, Sonny, back in my day. Okay, so, as always, these are, we're going to miss things that other people really love, but this is what I love, so deal. So I'm going to start off with it. I can't help it. Foreigners weren't going to start, and I'm probably going to pick a lot of songs that most people would pick. I'm kind of a B-sides kind of guy, so I got at least one of those in here, or an older one at least. But I'm going to start off with Urgent, of course. We have to have Urgent, because we urgently have to have Urgent. Sorry.
Just beat this one on the ground, why don't you?
I got nothing. I'm a dad now. I got to do the stupid jokes. Anyway.
I was so offended when someone said I did dad jokes, and then like 2 years later I realized, I'm going to embrace the dad jokes.
Go for it, man. Jukebox Heroes, and this is no specific order, obviously. One I'm pulling out of the archives a little bit would be Star Rider.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's very, very. Do you know that?
No.
I think you know it if you listen to it.
Okay.
It's got kind of a storytelling type of vibe to it that a lot of the 70s songs back in the day had. Loved it. I had this whole thing, and we'll get there. If we ever cover Boston, I'll have to do that. Maybe I shouldn't reveal too much, but they were really big in the whole storytelling thing or the continuation type of thing. And I had so much to say about it, and I realized I was going down the wrong path, Ron. We're not doing Boston. Anyway, that leads me to song number 4. I was a long, long way from home. Okay. Let's just move on down the list. I Want to Know What Love Is. Yes, I know it's kind of sappy.
Oh, we saw them in concert. Did I tell you this? About 5 years ago. And they had the entire high school choir come out and sing that with them as the last song.
What?
Yeah. It's great. And that's what they do. Every time they go on tour, they try to get a local school to bring their chorus in, and then they join in on the last song.
They did a lot. Was it Foreigner? Honestly, a lot of the bands have probably done a lot with symphonies and stuff like that, at least in their later years, and I love that. Moving out of my ballad, going on to like a sing-off. I got another, actually, Break It Up by Foreigner as well, before we get too far in there. They got a really awesome bass and a lot of breaks in that song. It just seemed like it would be a blast to listen to live. And then moving on from there to Lou Gramm singles. I got Midnight Blue.
Yeah.
Probably pretty much a mainstay for him. And then go into what we were talking about earlier about Lost Boys. I don't know if we were talking about that on air or off
we
air.
Were. I actually don't know if we were. I think it was before we recorded.
What's that?
I think it was before we hit record.
Before we hit record. So we were talking about how much we love Lost Boys. And this is off of that album, Lost in the Shadows by Lou Gramm. And we'll just do band by band.
No, then, well, do you want to do the whole 20 and then I'll do 20, or do you want to do band, like you do a band, I'll do a band? Well, I guess it ruins the organization, huh? We should have discussed this beforehand. Go ahead and do your whole 20, because I think people's minds are going to be confused. Yeah.
All right, the whole 20. Moving on to Styx. Perfect intro for Styx to come on the stage would be 1928, leading right into Rockin' the Paradise. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Mr. Robato's got to be in there. Too much time on my hands. I'm learning that on bass right now. It's kicking my butt, but I'm going to stick to it. Edge of the Century, Renegade. Obviously, all these are like top 10, the greatest hits. But
well, there's a reason. Yeah, I mean, people get mad if we add just like mostly the known hits, but I mean, there's a reason why they're the known hits.
Because they're good. There's a reason they get the top 10 in the charts. I mean, or some of these may not have, but I got to show, and I don't know if I'm right on this or not. I think a lot of people probably would disagree with me, but I like "Show Me the Way." That's when they came back onto the charts in 1990 after like 7 years off.
Yeah.
And I love that album. I don't know if I actually bought the album, but I have the single. Remember those? The cassette singles. It's like for those of you who don't know, those are like
things we paid way too much money for.
Magnetic tape. Anyway, no, you'd have one song on one side and then another song from the album on the other side, and you'd get those in the mail every now and again, or you'd buy them for like $1 or whatever.
Oh, if you're smart, you did. Yeah, sometimes I paid like $4 or $5 for a single. Dumb.
Yeah, exactly. But we were young and dumb. But I mean, that was off Edge of the Century, and that's why I like. I mean, I don't have to look into this. I have to dig this tape out, but I think that is actually the song that was on the other side of "Show Me the Way," which may or may not be right, considering that was the name of the album. Maybe not. I don't know how they do that, but moving on. I only had a few songs in there, but I think if they jump into these, especially like Mr. Roboto, they'll probably drag it out. They'll make a show of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've only got 6 songs there, technically 7 if you count the intro there. Journey.
The only band that I
had
didn't
no
listen
idea
to
Journey was that old.
Did you listen to all these bands growing up? Because I never listened to Journey. I knew of them, like on the radio, but my parents had Styx and Foreigner.
Yeah, I did. I look back. I think you met Les once. He was my little sister's dad, and he was big into all these bands. So my mom was more. I mean, she liked some of them, I would imagine as well, but for the most part, she was more like soft rock, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
yacht rock type stuff. But yeah, I listened to a lot of these growing up, and I didn't. I look at Les now, and I'm thinking, man, he's a rocking kind of guy, but he really likes some of that slow stuff too. But anyway, going on to Journey, had Anytime from 1978. It's dating back a little bit, and I'm glad we did this list, honestly, because I didn't realize how old some of these songs were.
Yeah, it took them a while to break out. They didn't really break out until, like, 4 albums in or something like that?
Right. I'm like, some of these, they had a couple of breakout hits there and there, but it was hit and miss for a couple of years, or a couple albums there at least. But Stone in Love is a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd like it when I first started listening to it a lot. But it's on my playlist on a Spotify list I've got that I listen to regularly. And
yeah, I think that's their first hit.
It's growing on me.
If I remember correctly, that's their very first hit.
Stone in Love?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that was their first biggest hit, is that what you said?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That was 1981, I think it was.
Oh, well, never mind then. I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, it's maybe one of their biggest hits, first biggest hits. I don't know. Wheel in the Sky, Keeps on Turning, gotta have that in there. Winds of March. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I don't even know that one.
Go ahead.
Winds of March?
Winds of March.
Why? I don't know that one. Huh.
It's one of the more epic type song and what have you, but I don't know, epic if that's the right word, but more of a storytelling type of thing. Again, also from Escape in '81 is Keep On Running, and then I'm gonna jump to as modern as I can get. Okay, so I was going through their playlist here, and I'm thinking I really stopped listening to them after like the '90s, maybe the '80s, '90s.
Okay, yeah,
somewhere in that range. I stopped listening.
So when Steve Perry left, after Steve Perry left, you still listen to him?
That's what I'm getting at here. Like, they went through a couple singers, if I remember correctly.
Right.
But they found a man named Arnel Pineda. I'm going to say it's Pineda. I hope I'm saying that right. Oh, wait, no, what is he? He's Filipino, so that's probably right. Pineda or something like it. Did I say a Filipino?
If he's Filipino, yeah, then it would be Peña.
Peña, okay, so Pineda. And he is about as close as you can get to Perry's voice as I've ever heard.
Yeah, I've heard it's legendary.
It's awesome, and he's on his own stuff without singing dirty stuff. I mean, Chain of Love is their own thing. It's not a Journey song per se, not a Perry Journey, not
right.
Previous Journey song.
Original content.
It's a modern one, yeah. And just, I love it. I'm going to have to listen to a little more of it, but there's probably a couple other good hits out there now that I just haven't hit yet, so revisit it. And that is where I ended it. I have no... I look at it this way. These bands are the kind of bands that are going to drag a concert out for a while.
Yeah, the solos, drum solos, yeah, definitely. Noodling around, playing with the audience, stuff like that.
And I'm going to love every minute of it. Keyboard, synths,
All right, so that is his run. Mine is slightly different order. I open up with Journey. I start off with... Now, I went in order of not so much as like sometimes I do stream of conscious or I do discography. Like I just go disc by disc and go up in time, whatever. I guess that's called an anthology. Right. This one I wanted to organize as if it was a real concert. So if Journey's coming on, they're going to come on with a big song. So Any Way You Want It, I think, is going to be a big opener and make everybody excited. Maybe I dropped it down a little bit too much on the next ones, but Separate Ways I still think is kind of epic in its sound.
Yes.
But it's a softer song. And then 3 is Open Arms, their ballad. I don't like most of their ballads, but I love this one. Maybe because subconsciously I still connected to the movie Heavy Metal. But then we're going to kick it back up a little bit with Stone in Love, which I didn't even know they sang until I was going through the playlist. I thought it was somebody else.
Right.
And now Only the Young. I cannot remember what movie this is from, and it's going to bug me to no end. If you know, let me, because I can't look it up on my computer since I'm recording. Only the Young is from some movie, and it drives me up the wall, but it's so good. And Be Good to Yourself, I believe, is also from a movie. This is towards the very end of the Steve Perry run. In fact, I think Be Good to Yourself, one of them I think might actually be a Steve Perry solo song. I'm terrible at notes, okay? I'm just letting you know that right now.
But you're good.
So that's
Vision Quest.
Vision Quest,
that's
thank
Vision
you.
Quest, Only the Young.
Okay. So Journey is my least favorite of the 3, so I move on to Styx at number 7. I think part of it is because I just didn't grow up with Journey, and I have more nostalgia and more memories of the stuff from Styx, and it's definitely Foreigner. So I want to start off with one of their earlier hits. I think this is a Tommy Shaw written song. You kind of feel the difference. What's the other guy's name? Dennis DeRillo or something like that, right?
DeYoung?
Dennis DeYoung, thank you. But Renegade, I think, is a hell of a way to start the concert. It's got that kind of that. Like, I want to see the lights slowly coming up when they're doing the harmony. Oh, mama, I'm unfit for my life long arm of the law. Yeah! Dun, 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 you know.
Sing it.
Yeah, and then the lights kick in or whatever, and that's a great way to, like, greet the audience. I might have done this a little bit in the incorrect order with this one. I feel like I should have saved Mr. Roboto for later, but everybody loves Mr. Roboto. Everybody. You find someone who doesn't like Mr. Roboto, don't talk to them because there's something wrong with them. They're broken inside. Who hurt you? This song plays at work, and we all do the robot dance. It's go, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto, domo, 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 domo. This video,
you
by
the
the way...
Jamie Kennedy voice?
Huh?
Jamie Kennedy.
Oh, this video I remember being one of the first like big budget videos. It's got real set pieces, sci-fi elements, and I just absolutely adore it. The next one is we're going on the Blue Collar Man, which I think is one that's kind of been ignored by the fans. It was a big hit at the time, but it's kind of faded away with the years or whatever. How about I take a breath? Sometimes I talk too fast for my own good. I'm sorry, everybody.
I talk too much for my own good.
10 is Fooling Yourself. And then I want to go into The Grand Illusion, which I think is a big, epic, very complicated song. Another Dennis song. And then Too Much Time on My Hands is the way that I want them to end it. Okay, so now the rest of this is going to be Foreigner. They're gonna kick it out immediately with Jukebox Hero. And I thought it'd be fun to just Jukebox Hero. When I was a kid, that was everything to me. That song in my head, he was a superhero. He used rock and roll music to defeat evil. And that's how they sing it. They sing it with so much passion. Like, yeah, that's okay. Hot Blooded, and then I want to double pair it, of course, with Cold as Ice. It seems a little obvious, but come on. It's right there for you.
Right.
Head Games, I think, is absolutely phenomenal. I think all these songs are great. Urgent, and then 18 is Double Vision. Then 19, we're going to do Dirty White Boy. I'm not sure. Does it mean he's horny, like filthy, or is he just not clean? Does he not take baths? Is this about Pigpen from the Peanuts cartoons? And number 20
secretly the ladies love him.
Number 20 is Lost in the Shadows, another one from Lost Boys. I absolutely love that song so much. And then I want everybody to come on stage at once and sing the song To the Good Old Days. It was written by Julian Lennon, but it was sung by Dennis. And I had never heard this song until we started doing this, and it makes me cry. For reasons that Ron and I are going to keep personal, but also we've hit an age where nostalgia kicks in and the years have gone by, and just good memories and just dealing with the change of seasons, I guess, if you want to call it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's just an absolutely beautiful song, and that is my 20.
It's a good 20.
Yeah,
there's definitely some on that list that I would definitely that were in the running. I was trying to be different.
Yeah, well, I was also trying to be even a little bit with the bands, but it was hard for me with Foreigner because I know that band better than the other two.
Yeah, it's real easy to take Foreigner and go with the more rockin' ones because that would make for a more fun show.
Yeah.
But I'm a big 80s synth nerd.
Yeah, but you're also a sap.
Too,
you're a bigger sap than I was. So I have problems with ballads because apparently I'm impulsive and aggressive.
You got it.
So that
sounds like a good list.
So that is it for this episode. So we kind of discussed beforehand how we're going to continue the show. So the next episode is going to be the one we discussed a little while ago, was the top 20 singles from solo Beatles. So after the Beatles broke up, we have the four guys going off on their own, and of course there's a lot of collaborations, so you can do that too, because I'm going to add The Girl Is Mine. I love that song that Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney did together, but that's going to be fun. So that'll be our next top 20, and then after that we decided, in order to keep organized, because I'm not, we're going to try to go chronologically. So we're going to skip back a little bit to the 50s and then work our way up.
Sounds like a plan.
Which is rare for me, kids.
Sounds groovy.
My plan is, what do we do right now without actually working anything out, so it makes a bigger mess? All right, so check us out on Facebook and Twitter under Hit Rewind Podcast, and that is it for tonight. Or today, whatever you're listening to it. I'm not going to pressure you.
Just listen. That's all we get. That's all
no
we
rules,
ask.
just right.